Hi everyone, welcome to the Build Up Podcast. I'm Davi. I'm excited to have Wilmer here from Lynn, Massachusetts for Brothers Roofing.
Hi, Davi. So my name is Wilmer Sosa. I work for Brothers Roofing and Construction LLC. Like you said, we are located in Lynn, Massachusetts. We have been this business has been running since 2015. So for it's been 11 years now. And business so far has been going good, but there has been some highs and there has been some lows to being part of the company.
Mhm. Nice, nice. How did you get started in the business?
So my father is actually the one who owns the company. I started working with him maybe like a year or 2 years ago. So I'm getting to know the company a little bit better. But so far what I've been doing, it's been pretty good. Some challenges along the way, but so far I've been able to manage.
Okay, okay. What's like the hardest thing you guys have gone through?
The hardest thing that I can say is it has to be looking for jobs, because when you send a bid or, it's not always guaranteed that we're going to get the job and that, this is all new to me. So I'm kind of learning as I'm taking the steps.
Hmm. So is the thing like you're gonna potentially one day be the one in charge?
So, I mean, maybe I will, maybe not. That's kind of undecided right now.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Do you have any like special stories from what you've been through? Like anyone that's been too complicated to work with or something?
I mean, there have been a very few amount of people that we've had trouble with that.
Hmm. How
Okay.
do you go through that? Like how do you deal with like harder customers?
To be honest, I feel like, the main part about dealing with customers has to be, the patience and willing to, try to work with the customer because some people may not like the prices that we give them or, they want to do things a certain way and, that takes time. So I feel like patience is the best way to deal with customers.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, it's true. You gotta be patient with people. And what do you what's your best advice for people when like trying to book a new client, like trying to make sure they accept the price and everything?
A piece of advice I would give to someone is come up to them, presentable, be respectful, but also be straightforward with it too, and to give them a reasonable price because some people, overprice some things. So that is a piece of advice that I would give to other people.
Okay. All right. And when you first started off, how was the company looking like? Did it start off good or did you guys like start on like kind of slow with a job here and there?
Yeah, that thing that it started off very slow. That we would get a
Mhm.
job, and then a couple weeks later, then we would get another one. So business did start off pretty slow at first.
And how did that feel? Like, I'm sure that wasn't very encouraging.
Well, yeah, because it was kind of frustrating too. Because we wanted to start this business to, get more jobs, and so actually, I have an older sister who she's been actually part of the company since they started. She's here with me now. If I can
Oh
bring her.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So this is my sister. She's actually been in the business for since it
Hello,
first started.
nice to meet you.
Hi. Nice to meet you. I'm Davi.
I'm Dania.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi, Dania.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, I think when we first started the company back in 2015, I believe a year and a half later, I got into it with my dad where I started getting involved. Um, I think his most hard moment throughout that time of beginning the company was that we were walking into something that we had no knowledge about. So, we had to find our own resources, our own way of like learning how to create estimates and learning how to create contracts, getting involved with learning where and who to reach out to in order to find more jobs. Um, and so at the beginning, it felt like it was going at a slow pace. It didn't, but he's obviously has always been a very determined guy and he didn't give up. And I think that's something that everybody, in the sense of any type of business, is the most important thing, that you can't give up, especially at the beginning. Everything is new, you're learning as you go. And to look back at where we are now and how we started, it has been a big change, not only in money wise, but also in the sense of having more knowledge about construction, knowing how to be able to kind of like grab the attention of clients or owners in certain things. Like, we have warranties that we can provide for people now in certain jobs that we do, things like that. We try to be very competitive with our numbers. And like Wilmer said, we don't focus on, oh, like, I'm going to charge this amount because I want to make this profit. It's more like we're going to charge reasonable amount in order to keep the company running, not only for us but for the workers that we have. We want to try to keep everyone busy, and kind of be able to have a momentum with our jobs to keep flowing. And I think now we are positioned in a better we're in a better place, in the sense of like, we recently, 2 years ago, we got certified with GSA. They are basically a government contract where we're able to bid for, state and federal jobs. And so that has been a very good thing for us this year, especially. We were able to get several jobs based off that contract that we have with them. We also are certified, with certainty. They are based off roofing products. And so it's more for residential homes with shingles. We're able to provide any client with a 50-year warranty, including material and labor. And I think that is something that it has caught a lot of people attention, especially owners, because in 50 years you might still have the house, you might not have the house, you might sell it, you don't. And so it's something that, at least once an owner decides to go forward with that, they're at ease and at peace to know that, anything happens to that roof from that day into 50 years, they don't have to worry about costs because they're covered. We also have a warranty with rubber roof, which is something that we mostly use on commercial buildings. We do TPO, which we we have a great experience with roof. We do general construction, but roofing has been our main thing, where we, from before to now, like, roofing is kind of like a piece of cake for us. We know exactly what we're doing, what we need, how much we're wasting, and it's something that we don't have to like take so long to be able to provide an estimate for somebody on roofing, because we are very familiar with pricing of materials and uh with the labor, how long we would take to complete that job or whatnot. So we do also have a warranty. It's called Firestone Elevate. They provide us the ability to basically, do commercial buildings or any place that involves TPO, EPDM, PVC roofing. We can give them, I believe it's a 30-year warranty, which includes labor in materials also, which is something that, a lot of people, want, because I feel like nobody wants to get a roof done, spend like 20K, and then in a year or two something's happening and now you have to repay again for that. I
Hmm.
feel like warranties are something that attracts a lot of clients because they want to feel, sure about what they're spending on. And if anything happens, they want to feel like, they're safe and they have a way to fix that problem if it was to occur.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's really good. Yeah, warranty. That's a big one for sure. What's what would be your guys' slow season? Do you have a slow season?
Yeah, the winter, obviously, I
Winter.
believe, I think it's more like November until like end of January, sometimes February. We try, basically, we're able, because most of our work is outside. We try to work as far as we can go based on the weather. Where we are located, it snows. So it creates a difficulty to do anything when that season comes, which most of the time lately it's been like the beginning of December where it starts snowing, and then December, January, and February are like our slowest months. But we try to stay busy. Wilmer, actually, last year he was able to find a contract with certain cities that were able to snowplow, and we're able to shovel snow. That way, nobody stays home. Basically,
Mhm.
are able to work, because obviously, especially in those months, it's the holidays. You have a lot of expenses. You still have rent and bills to pay. So we try to kind of find a way and possibility for everybody to maintain an opportunity to keep working. Last year, this year that passed, we did that for the whole time that it was snowing, and it helped us a lot. I think everybody was happy, even though obviously, it's cold, it's snowing. You don't really look forward to waking up at 2 in the morning to go clean, a whole parking lot. But I think, the most important thing is that, we gotta keep going, in the sense of, not getting, backtracked with bills and stuff like that. So it was a good thing for us in that sense, with that contract that we were able to find. And also, like I said, we don't only do roofing. We do, kitchen remodeling, basement remodeling, bathrooms, framing itself, new construction. Um, we've done, painting. I think we've, throughout time, especially with the workers that we've had, they have had a lot of experience with a lot of things inside and exterior, interior work. And so throughout that time, even though it's a slow season, we try to find those type of specific jobs that are, involving inside, only because, the weather, it obviously creates, a bearing with us being able to work outside, on based on the weather. But yeah, I would say those 3 months are the slowest months for us.
Okay. And I know you said your dad was really hardworking and he was not giving up. How would you how would you put that into advice? Like how would you help someone continue through those slow moments in the beginning of like, oh, a job now, a jump in the month, and then like, starting off, how do you stay focused on your goal, really?
I think in his mind and also my mind, I would say that in order for you to grow, you always start with baby steps. And it's kind of like you can't expect too much at the beginning, but you can obviously, you have to dream and see yourself getting up there, and as
Mhm.
time goes by, as your business is going, even if you get one job a month, the beginning is always hard. But I think that, if consistency is something that matters, because the more, you could do a job every other month, but the more you get to know people, the more you're going to put your company out there, even if it's going slow pace, because, that one client could talk about your company to several people, not just one person, especially if you get the job done the right way, your client is happy, satisfied. Word of mouth is something that is real and it actually works, like the more you get around people, and I think it's something that you have to find strategies on how to create more, how to put your company out there more, and luckily I think, we also are part of SDO, which they are basically people that help small businesses to find ways on how to get your business more out there, how to make it grow, and those are things that help you. There's a lot of training classes that they offer. There's just so many resources that a lot of people don't know about, especially small businesses, and I think it's because it either could be a language barrier, or it could be something that they don't know how to use the computer too much, or how to search up places or people that can help you with that. But and all around, I think the consistency and not giving up is very important, and to always, you always got to remind yourself that you just started, and you can't, like, just, it would be amazing if you'd start something and then out of nowhere it's skyrocketing and you're just everywhere, and you're getting exactly where you are. But I think the purpose of the beginning of something, it becomes hard, but you're able to see, as more as you go, the more knowledge you're gaining, the more people you're meeting. And like I said, even if it's one job a month, your company goes, it's gonna get talked about somehow, some way. We used to, always carry business cards anywhere we would go, anywhere we would see, we would have the opportunity to leave cards. We would leave them. We would talk to anybody, even if they're not asking about construction or anything. Be like, hey, this is my card. If you ever, encounter to need construction in your home or your family or a friend, you could definitely, let them know that we are available, and I think that was another thing that we focused on a lot.
Okay. All right. That's really good. I think that's a good place to end it at. Thank you. All right. Well, that's it for today's episode of The Build Up. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Truly inspiring stuff. If anyone wants to connect with Brothers Roofing Construction, they're always open to help. And thank you so much to our guests, Danya and Wilmer. All right. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you
your
so
time.
much,
We
Tommy.
appreciate it.